Hello, my name is Sandy and welcome back or welcome to my channel. This video is titled The White Savior Trope and it is part of a new series on my channel called Let's Analyze Stuff in Films and Shows. In this series we take a deep dive into various tropes. I will try to encapsulate the best analysis I could do, but please take my videos more as conversation starters rather than undebatable analysis. With that being said, I would love to read your analyses down below. Now enough talking, let's get on with the video. This video is going to be a short analysis. In this video, I am going to mainly be looking at the film Gone with the Wind. I am also going to answer the following questions. Why am I making this video? What is the trope white savior? And what does it have to do with this film? The reason why I'm doing this video is because a couple weeks ago I was researching for my cancel culture video when I ran across a video on YouTube that caught my eye. It was regarding the movie Gone with the Wind. It was a video by Inside Edition and they were covering the topic regarding how Gone with the Wind had been pulled from the streaming service HBO Max. But within the video, it also said that it will return with a discussion of its historical context and a denouncement of its very depictions. But what really caught my eye about this topic is the reactions. They all agreed on things such as that cancel culture had gone too far, that people get offended easily, that people should not watch a movie if they don't like it, that it is all in the past, that why erase history if we can learn from history, and that Hayley McDaniel won an Oscar due to her performance in this video. Please keep in mind that HBO never said that the movie would be taken down forever. The video by Inside Edition was posted on June 10, 2020, during the time that protests began to arise due to the death of George Floyd. And currently, if we go to the streaming service HBO Max, Gone with the Wind is on there. So it makes me realize how there was a misunderstanding from those who reacted, because everyone who reacted assumed that it would be gone forever. At least, that's what I noticed. I can't really say much about this, but it does pique my interest. I wonder why there was such a misunderstanding. Now, please understand, I'm not saying they should pull this movie from the streaming service again. This isn't the intent of this video. Instead, I'm going to talk about the examples of white savior within this film. Before we continue further, let's look at what the term means. The white savior is a cinematic trope in which a white character rescues non-white characters from unfortunate circumstances. This trope appears in an array of genres of films in American cinema, wherein a white protagonist is portrayed as a messianic figure who often learns something about him or herself in the course of rescuing non-white characters from their plight. Now, the white savior narrative in the movie Gone with the Wind can be seen with its more romantic than realistic way of portraying history. Something to keep in mind about this film is that it was a film set in Georgia during the Civil War, adapted from a 1936 novel and released in 1939. To add some context, the Civil War took place from 1861 to 1865, and this was fought between the northern states loyal to the Union and the southern states that had seceded to form the Confederate States of America. The Civil War began primarily as a result of a long-standing controversy over the enslavement of black people. While it was a fight over enslavement, keep in mind that the North didn't necessarily view black people as equals. Now, this shows how there were 74 years from the end of the Civil War to when the book was first published. Quite a long time. Now, the reason why I'm pointing this out is because the novel says a lot more about the current state of America in the 1930s than it does of the 1860s. Gone with the Wind is more of a reminiscing work of fiction than it is true to the historical accuracies of the time during the Civil War. So to best analyze this, I believe it will be best to talk about the 1930s. It was a time before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, filled with segregation, Jim Crow laws, the second period of the KKK, and the Great Depression. Also, racial violence and lynching were beginning to increase after a short decline. Half of the African American population were out of work due to the Great Depression. Looking at the aspect of segregation, which were very prevalent during this time, I would like to add on to the previous comment we looked at from the Inside Edition video. The comment stated, Hayley McDaniel was the first African American to win an Oscar because of her role in Gone with the Wind. Guess we can't talk about that. My response would be that while Hayley McDaniel did win an Oscar, she was not allowed to sit with the other cast members due to it being designated as a no black zone. This shows how the cruelty still existed at the time. The history we see as far away in the past is actually closer than many of us realize. The reason why this movie is insensitive and what this movie shows about the United States. In my opinion, Gone with the Wind is insensitive due to its glorification without the analysis of its issues. I do realize that many people know that Gone with the Wind is a historical fiction, but I feel like a lot of people downplay the issues and repercussions that it has. The thing is that Gone with the Wind is not an ordinary film, but it is one of the top grossing films when adjusted for inflation. This shows how much of an impact this movie had in the 1930s in terms of bringing people to the box office. Gone with the Wind is still seen as a masterpiece today. It was a movie that was nicely packaged to give the white people of the story a savior narrative. This is seen through the depiction of the black people as children.
And he told me that was down the car shed doing it so. Then why didn't you go after it? Miss Scarlet, I was scared to go down that car shed. There's folks dying down there, and I'm scared of dead folks.
It pretty much treats slavery as a plot use to make the white people of the story look like white saviors. These masters, at a certain point, they were going to go and free them. They were that good of people.
Darling, I don't like to interfere, but I do wish you'd let me hire free darkies instead of using convicts. I believe we could do better.
He's with their pay would break us. Convicts are dirt cheap. If we just give Gallagher a free hand, he
Free hand, you know what that means. He'll starve them and whip them. Didn't you see them? Some of them are sick, underfed.
Oh, Ashley, how you do run on? If I let you alone, you'll be giving them chicken 3 times a day and tucking them to sleep with eider-down quilts.
Scarlett, I will not make money out of the enforced labor and misery of others.
You weren't so particular about owning slaves.
That was different. We didn't treat them that way. Besides, I'd have freed them all when Father died. The war hadn't already freed them.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ashley. You've forgotten what it's like.
Scarlett's father, at one point in the film, basically was telling Scarlett to be good to her slaves, to be good to them. They don't necessarily do it because they see them as equals, but because they want to be good people. This narrative of white savior.
I've been talking to Prissy and Mammy, and I don't like the way you're treating them. You must be firm with inferiors, but you must be gentle with them, especially darkies.
Yes, Pa, I know. But I'm not asking them to do anything I'm not doing myself.
Nevertheless, Katie Scarlett, I don't like it.
In my perspective, the way that black people are depicted is like a man's best friend, basically. Like when Scarlett is in trouble, one of her helpers ends up running to her because he recognizes her and he goes and saves her. The way that slaves are portrayed in Gone with the Wind is mostly as happy slaves, the helpful slaves. The slaves that are always happy to the point that they are singing at many points of the film, although there is so much disaster and devastation happening all over them. It really depicts black people as being very... And it kind of, in a way, justifies why black people need to be quote-unquote owned. So another example of white savior is within the movie The Blind Side. So basically with The Blind Side, it is a movie that is based off a book. So with the movie The Blind Side, it very much puts the character of Sandra Bullock, Miss Tui, in a position of white savior. She is put in this position where she is saving this boy's life, being this very good person who helped someone in this bad condition get into a better situation, even though that was not true to the real life story. Another example is Freedom Writers, where they casted a white actor to play a Latina teacher. It is a film where the white actor, in this case a teacher, is placed in this circumstance because she wants to help these poor kids. She is depicted as a kind woman contrasted to all the other bad whites. This is also seen in the other movie, The Blind Side.
Honey, you're changing that boy's life. No. He's changing mine.
The issues with all of these films is that it makes the white characters the main focus, giving us the perspective of the white person while sidelining the other characters of color. Their characters and their struggles are sidelined and created as one-dimensional. There isn't much complexity to their story, and in many cases, this leaves them in situations where it depicts them more as props to the story, either in form of action or just in the background. The issues aren't truly explored, and their problems are solved by the white people in the story. In a way, this gives off the message that they can't solve their issues on their own. On the other hand, films and shows that have done a good job of addressing these social issues are The Hate U Give and the Netflix short series When They See Us. Both show us stories that don't have traditional happy endings, but instead leave us with questions and make us feel uncomfortable. They aren't stories about people of color told through the lens of white people, but instead are stories about people of color told through their lens. Films have a huge impact on our society, and that is something that needs to be taken into account. I'm not saying let's go and take down every film that has depictions of white savior, nor am I saying to go and condemn anyone who has been in a film like that, or who has directed or written a film like this, or produced a film like this. All I am saying is that it will be best to start having more films that do have stories of POC that are actually through the lens of POC, that gives us a different perspective and that actually address the social issues more better. Wow, you made it to the end. Please let me know what you thought about this video down below. Keep in mind, comments are very helpful for Lady Algorithm to know that my content is watchworthy, so generous comments are very much appreciated. Like this video if you would like me to continue making more videos like this. Also subscribe and ring the notification bell if you would like to keep watching my content. YouTube has this thing that just won't share videos to subscribers if they don't have their notification bells on. So if you don't want to miss any of my content, please make sure to have them turned on. With that being said, thank you so much for watching my content. Also thank you for my 311 subscribers. I love every single one of you very much. Thank you for taking a chance on me. I'm very thankful. Anyways, stay safe, y'all.